This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And hey, you might not have heard, but Reunion 2011 is getting ready to go. That's right. It's going to be in December 2011, and we've got dates, events, and all this information up on our website at 2011reunion.net. But if you're planning on going to Reunion, you'd be best served by booking with our sponsors today, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, because not only are they going to get you a great rate and great customer service as well, but they're also going to give you the opportunity to book into any hard ticket events, which there are going to be, at Reunion first. You get first dibs on booking into them, and that way you can get ahead of the crowd and get into all those hard ticket events that are, frankly, they sell very, very quickly, usually in a matter of days. So booking with MEI and Mouse Fan Travel is going to be a great option. Check them out right now at mousefantravel.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Wednesday, June 8th, 2011, and this is episode 887 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudiosCentral.com. Joining on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Well, you know what kind of a sport I am.
Yeah. Carousel.
Wow, good call. Didn't occur to me. Also joining us on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Len, that great answer got you the second billing on the show. Good job.
I appreciate that. Thanks very much.
You earned it.
By the way, Matt, I'm headed to Europe for a couple of weeks starting tomorrow. So, as they say in France, arrivederci.
Business pleasure?
Both. I'm updating the Disneyland Paris book. And then I'm going to go spend some time in northern Italy, looking at the houses of that Andrea Palladio designed around the area of Vicenza in Italy. And I hear Italian food is pretty good. I've never had any myself, but
it's okay.
Best Italian restaurants are in France.
That's what I hear. Belgium.
Yep.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey, Len, just make sure you stay away from more, the greens and all the other stuff with all the E. coli going around.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, well, my rule of thumb generally when traveling abroad is don't eat anything that doesn't come in a little cellophane wrapper. only eat it if it's prepackaged. It's just something that I've adopted years ago, and
Good plan.
Twinkies I found are sort of the universal food group.
Good plan.
That's great. Go to Italy and France and have Twinkies. That'll really get you a taste of the culture.
Le Pop Tart.
Le ring ding.
Le ding dong. Exactly.
Le chocodile.
Le Twinkie.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. We're going to start with an email from J.C. Chupak of Journey, Illinois. Hi there, y'all.
Don't stop believing, baby.
I was just going to say that. You beat me to it.
I have been really bothered by all the Duffy hate on your recent podcast, particularly a recent question episode where a listener asking about how to meet and find Duffy in the United States was met with so much vitriol.
I've got vitriol. I've got nothing but love for Duffy. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
What's more, you guys never answered the question. I'm hoping you'll read this email to present a counter opinion and to inform other listeners that might be curious. Duffy originated in Japan at Tokyo Disney, as you noted, and you got the story mostly right. The story is also posted in Epcot in the Meet Duffy area near the beginning of World Showcase. What you won't learn from the story is that as part of Tokyo Disney, Duffy was designated to market to Japan's kawaii or cuteness culture so that they could embrace the aspect without changing the nature of the Fab Five. Kawaii started in Japan in the 70s, but nowadays, if you go to Japan, Taiwan, or Korea, you'll see very cute mascots all over the place, even for public signage. Disney designated Duffy to fit into the cultural area over there. Because of that, Duffy is a very unique Disney souvenir for anyone who's particularly enamored of Japanese culture. Until recently, Americans could only get him through eBay, and regular-sized Duffy bears went for 2 to 3 times their price. So you perhaps can now understand why we're so happy to see Duffy show up in the United States at regular prices. Even if you're not into Japanese culture, there's another great reason to love Duffy. I love Disney's parks. I'm a fan of the parks first and foremost. It's why I love your podcast. Duffy is a mascot of the parks, not of movies or of cartoon shows. The only character that's similarly just a mascot of the parks that I know of is Figment. I love Figment too, and I love Duffy for the same reasons. Shockingly, I've never heard y'all rip on Figment as being just another Disney marketing tool, even though he is just as much as anything else they do. Like Figment, Like Figment symbolizes the spirit of imagination, Duffy symbolizes the spirit of travel and adventure. Anyway, hope this helps a little to soften your hearts towards Duffy and also to inform listeners who might know the origins and reasoning aside from the story posted in Epcot. I always love the show, even though when I disagree. Keep up the good work.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know the whole thing about Japan. I'm okay. I like him a little bit more now. Although I think the whole thing with Figment was a little bit of a stretch because Figment was actually in an attraction before he was commercialized.
Exactly. It's good. Thank you for sending the email in, JC. I still think you're wrong, but I
don't know. What do you mean?
This is my problem with it. It's not that Duffy exists or its existence doesn't bother me. My problem with it is it's completely overly pushed by Disney.
Yes,
what isn't?
No, but this is like really over. It's
like saying, I love the NFL except for the violence. I
mean, it's in all the parks. If they obviously made Epcot the center of it, that's fine. Keep it in Epcot then. But it's in all the parks. It's all over the place. They push it too much. And why do they push it too much? Because they make $1 off of it. I don't mind when they bring stuff in and it's just it's part of the story. And she brought up some really good points. I'm not JC. I'm assuming you were a girl, but I could be wrong on that. And I just wish it would be more. So let demand make it popular. Don't stuff it down our throat.
Yeah. It's like Vinyl Nation. I never got the Vinyl Nation thing either. So
I'm in agreement. I mean, there's a lot of people who love it. That's fine. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. I just think I would prefer if things were just introduced without being shoved down our throats. Where you just see all the stores remove something to make room for it, and that's too much in my estimation. That's always been my problem with it, and not so much its mere existence. I mean, it was, and the other thing was it used to be the Disney Bear, which they had a couple of years ago in Disney World, which flopped horribly. But it can have a place. It just needs to not be the center of attention because it is not the center of attention. It doesn't deserve the hype that it gets from Disney, I should say. I'll take that as we'll agree to disagree, Len.
All right, fair enough.
Either that or he's asleep.
No.
Next email is from Chris Corey. Listening to episode 883, was going to recommend betterbidding.com, but Len just plugged it. He's my Waldorf and Statler.
Yeah, I like the site quite a bit for downtown Disney hotels.
Speaking of Priceline, we got next email from Lori from Orlando, Florida. Hi everyone, I've been listening for a while now. Love the show. I heard you all recommend Priceline a few times, and most recently on episode 883 about hotels at downtown Disney. I work at a hotel, and I just wanted to share my thoughts. Hang with me on this. Let's say you find a deal for $60 on a hotel that typically runs $100. Sounds good, right? But what most people may not know is how Priceline and Hotels.com and Expedia make the profit. You give that $60 to Priceline, and they only pay the hotel, say, $30. You win, Priceline wins, but the hotel not so much. For the hotel, it's just used as a way to fill rooms and get their name out there. So here's a little money-saving trick I'd like to share. Call up that hotel, and, well, first off, be nice. Secondly, let them know you found a room on Priceline for $60. Ask if they can beat that. The person you talk to might not have the authority for low rates, so politely ask to speak to a manager if you have to.
All right, Matt, before you go, you can't do that because you don't get the price until you pay for the room.
You're right. Yeah, you're right about that. I was going to say I was going to say afterwards that you could go to, let's say, like biddingfortravel.com or the website that Len recommended. What was it? Better Bidding? Yeah. And you can see what other people are getting and then go off that.
Right.
You're right. If Mike Newell used Priceline, got it for $60, and then called up, you got a better rate. Well, that's great, but you can't cancel the $60 rate on Priceline.
And number two, what do I care what the hotel's getting from it? I'm only paying $60. That's all I care about. I don't care if the hotel's only getting $30. Yeah, that's not up to me.
I was going to say that. I know. We're all sound like mean people today, but...
That's right. Duffy and Priceline.
Duffy and Priceline's, eat it. I mean, I don't care. They don't offer the rate if the hotel can't,
Right. And 9 times out of 10, if I get a really good rate on Priceline, I'm eating dinner in that hotel. I'm spending money at that hotel that I wouldn't have normally. So they're getting that money back somehow.
I mean, like, if they were, they're not in a money-losing business. They're putting that rate out there. They're not losing money. They're just like this. They're trying to fill up rooms because guess what? A room for $60 is still better than no room that nobody's paying for, right? I mean, if they're putting it out there, it's a service. It works. And frankly, we as the guests are taking a risk because we could end up at a hotel we prefer not to be at necessarily. It's a gamble.
Right. That's the problem. I said you can't call up the hotel and say I can get it for $60 because once Priceline accepts that bid, you're in. There's no cancellation. They've charged your credit card, and that's where you're staying for that price. So
that is, and Lori wrote in the letter in the email, and just if you're using somewhere like Priceline or Hotwire, you do have to keep in mind, yes, you are paying full the full amount ahead of time,
Right.
and you can't cancel it.
Right.
So it is something to keep in mind. So you could, if you end up on like, you're hoping for somewhere in downtown Disney, but you end up like the Embassy Suite. That happened to me.
Right.
I put Lake Buena Vista. I wanted to be in downtown Disney, which is the area, and I ended up in the Embassy Suites, which is like a mile or two outside of Disney. Now, to me, it wasn't the end of the world, but I wasn't 1,000% excited about that.
Right.
But that being said, you have to keep that in mind. It's a gamble.
Right. And I got the DoubleTree in downtown Disney for $50,
Yeah.
which was a score, I thought. But then again, I don't care if they only get $30 of that. That's not my, that's DoubleTree's worry because they're the ones that accepted the bid.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%, Mike. I'm sure Len disagrees with you because he's the everyman.
I mean, it is sort of the deal between the hotel and better bidding because the hotel actually sets the price, right? They say this is the minimum at which we'll accept a room. And
I do like her tip though, Len, about that you could go to a website like Bidding for Traveler, Better Bidding,
and see
what people are getting, and then call up the hotel and say like, hey, can you match it?
Yeah, I think so. The other thing I've noticed, and this could be me, I don't know if it's true or not, but have you ever noticed that when you use one of those budget places and you don't book directly with the website, you tend to get worse hotel rooms? Like it's typically by the elevator, or
I believe that they have that they keep a block of their worst rooms for those deals. I believe that
it might be true.
Like there might be a block of Priceline rooms or Hotel.com rooms that if a reservation comes in through that system, that you automatically get a bad view or like you said near the elevator or a noisier area.
I do know that when you use Priceline, you do not qualify for like the rewards programs that the hotel offers.
Right.
Next email is from Michael from Los Angeles. I know, according to Len, it's one of the 7 deadly sins to go to a 2-credit restaurant on the Disney dining plan. But what if you were to use your 2 credits for a night at the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review? Len, it's all the beer and wine you can drink. Must be worth it, right? But seriously, if you were ever to use 2 credits, is this the place to do it? Would love your thoughts.
It depends on the price. Really, it comes down to each credit is worth what, $26, $27, something like that.
Uh-huh.
So the cost of the meal has to be around $52, $53 to break even. What's the cost of Hoop-Dee-Doo per person? It's like right at 53, isn't it?
But I don't think you can qualify because there's 3 levels of Hoop-Dee-Doo, right? There's 3 tiers, and it just refers to which seating. It's all the same food, but it's like are you sitting closer to the stage or further away? And obviously, tier 1 is closest to the stage, and tier 3 is furthest away. And I want to say, I'm looking it up right now.
Even at category 2, it's definitely category 1 if you can get it. But I don't know if you can or not.
The dining plan can be used for Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review for categories 2 and 3. Big surprise.
Okay, so category 2 might be worth it.
Yeah. It says, although effective at August 19th, this is on allears.net. Effective August 19th, 2007, the dining plan can also be used for category 1 seating for the 9:30 show using 2 table service entitlements.
Well, then it's worthwhile.
Okay. Very good. Next email is from Kathleen G. of Lexington, Massachusetts. My dream is to book a grand villa at the Boardwalk Villas for 4 days around Veterans Day holiday in November of 2011 for a special family gathering. The problem is, I'm not a DVC member. So here are my questions. Realistically, what are my chances of actually being able to rent a grand villa at Boardwalk during Food and Wine? How far in advance do I have to book it? And is there any chance of getting a discount, or are the Grand Villas just too popular for discounts? I am a member of AAA, if that helps.
I don't think they offer discounts on the Grand Villas.
Yeah, that's really tough to get. I don't think the Grand Villas are ever discounted, are they?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you'd be able to get one if it's available. I mean, it's just a matter of availability. If I were I think the most important question, Kathleen, was your second one. How far in advance to book it? You need to book it like really far in advance because obviously Food and Wine is a very popular time of the year.
Right.
So my suggestion would be to look at it immediately. Now, Newell, are there Grand Villas across at was it Beach Club that has DVC or Yacht Club? Beach Club, right? They have the DVC
I believe so.
over there.
At the villas over at the Beach Club, there are.
Yeah, so that might be another option. I know, Kathleen, you might have kind of been thinking Boardwalk in your mind, but Beach Club also has Disney Vacation Club, and in fact, it's actually closer to Epcot, to be honest with you. So that might be another option as well, as if there's no availability at Boardwalk. Very good. Well, actually, Len, do you have any comments on the thoughts on the Grand Villa at either?
I've never stayed at them. I'm doing my first Grand Villa this coming December, so I'll let you know then.
Oh, cool. Next email is from Kevin Watkins of Atlanta, Georgia. We're heading down at the end of the month for a vacation that happens to overlap my wife's birthday. I've seen the Disney Bakery featured on some food and travel shows and was thinking of ordering a cake to be delivered to one of our dining locations. We'll be dining at Cuisina, Narcoossee's and Le Cellier, The Wave, and Whispering Canyon. Narcoossee's is the big birthday surprise dinner, but I was thinking of having the cake on one of the other nights. Your comments and advice would be appreciated.
I think birthday cake kind of screams less casual or less formal place than Narcoossee's, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Narcoossee's, you want it to be a complete meal. What were the other places? Cuisina, I could kind of see.
Cuisina.
Greek pastry.
Let's see. Le Cellier, The Wave, Whispering Canyon. Whispering Canyon would be a hoot, I would think.
Whispering. Oh, can you imagine bringing a birthday cake to Whispering Canyon? That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
I like that one. Let's go with that one. Whispering Canyon is our suggestion.
As long as Dizzy isn't there.
No, that's that's artist.
Artist Point.
Okay. Yeah.
Next email is from Tom Reck of Minneapolis, Minnesota, land of Anne. So we have a early AM ADR at BOMA in December, and for everyone has told me the easiest way to get there from Port Orleans French Quarter at this time of the day is a cab ride. My question is about a little one in a cab. We have a 2.5-year-old. She'll be that old at the time of travel. If we let the cab company know will they bring a car seat for her, or will we need to have our own? Or what's the best way to get about this? Or should I ask the front desk when we get to the resort?
With a cab?
Yeah, calling them, and I'm wondering if they give you
I don't know.
Car seats. I mean, I know that
You have to ask.
Yeah, you probably have to call ahead, right?
So I think most of the Mears places have a car seat. That's not true. The town cars probably have a car seat.
According to mousesavers.com, most shuttle vans and buses fall under mass transportation laws that do not require them to provide child safety seats, but you should request them when making your reservations anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, you can always bring your own car seats as well.
Are they talking about from the airport to the resort, or just the cab in general?
No, the cab in general, from the resort Port Orleans French Quarter to Animal Kingdom Lodge for BOMA.
Yeah, that's something you may have to make early reservations for.
Yeah, I would give them 24 hours. Like call the day before.
Yeah.
And ask.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, you just can't hail a cab and say, hey, take me over here, and I need a car seat.
Right.
They're not going to have that, yeah.
Next email is from Michelle of East Hartford, Connecticut. My husband and I are traveling to Walt Disney World during the last week of September for our 5th wedding anniversary trip, and our first trip without our 1.5-year-old. I'd like to do something special for him while we're there, but he's not as much as a Disney fan as I am. And I'd like for it to be as much of a surprise as possible. Finances are tight, so Victoria and Albert's is out, and I'm not a fan of cruises, so the Illuminations cruise isn't an option. Any ideas you could share, hopefully before my kid turns 16, would be great. I like the what's it called? The carriage rides. They offer that at Port Orleans resorts and Fort Wilderness, and those are nice romantic things you can do. Kind of nice, but for him, I'm not sure if he would get so much kick out of that. Yeah. What do you think, Clinton? Any ideas? If I was going to surprise you with a romantic something or other, what would it be?
Dinner at Chico? No.
It's a good option. Yeah, a nice dinner with good, and they've got great steak over there, right?
I like pretty much everything on the menu at Chico. The other thing, you could do is, depending on the resort that you're staying at, there's always the romantic stroll through the
Pop Century.
through the no, it was the All-Star.
All-Star, yeah.
Totally true, by the way. But also really good is Port Orleans resorts too. So at the values and the moderates you can find.
Yeah.
I mean, and you should go back to that episode because what was it like last October when we did it? It's really true. I mean, you start out kind of late in the evening, so go have a late dinner, grab a bottle of wine or a couple of beers or whatever's in your budget, and walk through the resorts. It's lovely, I'm telling you. You laugh. You should do it.
I believe you.
Bring Marissa. Get a babysitter.
All right, we'll do it. Where are we going? Chico, BOMA, Le Cellier? No, baby. All Stars.
All Star, baby.
All things pop.
Next email is from Rick and Shannon from Boalsburg, Pennsylvania. I know that you make a ton of these, but I was thinking about a show idea. Do you remember the movie Brewster's Millions?
Yeah, it's
Richard Pryor?
Richard Pryor. Yeah.
They write, well, my wife Shannon and I watched it over the weekend, figured how we'd spend $30 million while spending time at Walt Disney World. It would be an awesome trip. It wouldn't be totally selfish. Wouldn't be totally selfish. We would share some of the wealth with other Disney fans, too.
That's awesome.
That's my plan,
$30
too.
million.
Yeah, if I had unlimited funds, I would just do everything if I wanted to eat here, I would eat there. If I wanted to buy something, I wouldn't have any inhibitions in terms of spending money. That makes sense.
In other words, Len, he's no longer your friend. He doesn't need you anymore.
That's it. That's apparently what that is.
Who needs Len?
Exactly.
I do. Next email is from Brett, New Hampshire. Cousin Mickey doesn't talk about it on the boards. People think the belly dancer in Morocco has always been covered head to toe. That's not true. I have photographic evidence that Disney has only covered her up in recent years. I have one photo circa in 1996 where you see a fully exposed belly. The second photo is circa 2009, and she is totally covered. I think Disney was afraid of corrupting our youth by exposing them to belly buttons. After all, look what happened to Len. Yes, it was the belly buttons.
Yeah, that's what got me. That's funny.
You have to remember these are the same people who had a legitimate debate whether or not Donald Duck should wear pants to avoid offending anyone. Somehow, that came up before his speech impediment did.
That's funny.
You said, Len, as I was reading the email, you said that's not the case. You remember when the belly dancers were a little more risque?
Yeah, I mean, it's early on, and then up until a few years ago, we actually have photos that we had, Disney publicity photos that we had gone through for the Color Companion book that showed them. I'm not, I Dream of Jeannie-ish, but, something like that.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. I wasn't aware that there was a change like that, but, you know. Next email is from Michael.
Yes.
Last year, myself and my girlfriend went to Walt Disney World in January.
I don't have a
Terrific
girlfriend.
time. This year, due to her medical internship, she's only has Christmas break from December 24th to January 2nd, whereas normally we'd have enjoyed month-long breaks. So now we have the choice to go on the dreaded week between Christmas and New Year's. It's a bad situation, we know. Before we realize everything, I wanted to get some general info. What does it really feel like to be in the parks on the week-long 10 crowd level? Len, you just did this last year.
I did it for New Year's Eve, so it's not bad. The way that we did it was get to the parks as early as possible during the day, and then bail out, in the middle part of the day from let's say 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. when it's super crowded and most people are there, and then come back after dark. It's a little bit cooler then, but like the Animal Kingdom is completely dead after dark. We were able to walk on many rides in the Animal Kingdom after dark. Then the other parks not as bad. Studios wasn't bad. Magic Kingdom is always going to be crowded. And then on New Year's Eve just prepare for the worst and stay all day. But most of the parks aren't bad early in the morning because everything's opening up so early. 8 a.m. openings. Maybe with extra magic hours at 7 a.m. That you can get in a lot of rides before the crowds really get there around 10 or 11. That's really the best strategy.
Okay. Scope, anything to add about going to Disney during really, really, really high crowd levels?
Well, I've been there on July 4th, and I think that it reinforces what Len's always said, and that is that, you got to get there early, and by mid-morning, mid-afternoon, that's when the crowds start, really building, and that's hopefully by that time you've had your fill and you can do something else, but it just reinforces on those particular days the fact that you need to get there 20 minutes, 30 minutes before the turnstiles are supposed to open.
Yeah, I was going to add also, you mentioned July 4th, Scopa, and I know that's coming up next month, July 4th here, and if anyone's considering it, and I know we're going to get the inevitable emails and questions, I'm going to the parks, which park should I go for July 4th? I still say Hollywood Studios is the best choice because it's going to be the least crowded, and they have their own special fireworks show, so you're not getting gypped out of that.
Smallest park.
Yeah, I've been there I think it's very happy. I enjoyed it. It does not close to capacity, so just keep that in mind if you're concerned about crowds. All right, time for our last question of the day, and that means I'm going to give Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. One gets read today, the other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later. Are you ready, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike. Your options for this week are can you crack this code?
Uh-oh.
Juicy rumors, unlimited fast passes for extra money. That was 1. And bring on the heartburn.
Wow, let's try bring on the heartburn for 200, Alex.
Last email's from Scott Chubak of Journey. Did we just read an email from him?
Scott Chewbacca? Is that what he said?
Scott Chupak.
Oh, this is Scott Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. That's why he's calling in. Scott writes in. Scott from Journey sees TDC on the boards. Okay, I just got the Journey joke that you made, Len, earlier.
Are you kidding me?
I was like, well, I don't get it. Is that where they're from? Like, they're from Illinois? And then I'm like, Journey. I get it. Yeah. Maybe it's Gurney. Anyway.
26 minutes later.
That's embarrassing.
Wow.
My wife and I were discussing how this. Okay. My wife and I were discussing how, with all your advice, we often experience the best food the world has to offer. But I feel we've been missing out, and we're wondering what a trip would be like if we purposely seeked out the most hated food options in the park. If you were to plan a trip to experience the worst Disney World has to offer, where would you go? And remember, money is no object. We will go to no end to experience the bottom of the barrel.
Wow.
I think you're starting in the Magic Kingdom, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think I know. I think we all can agree with this is going.
A couple ADRs at
Tony's.
Tony's.
Oh my God.
At Tony's. Maybe you're having the seafood over at Sci-Fi Dine-In.
Oh, that'd be a good option. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Steak at Rose and Crown.
Steak over, yeah. What's actually China's? No,
the counter service at China.
Counter service at China. The counter. Try the pork, and then you have to finish it off somewhere downtown Disney, like a Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest Cafe, that's a great option right there. Yes, money's no object. That'll be good because you're going to need it.
Yeah, good times.
A T-Rex.
Yeah,
the food's not bad actually. The steaks there aren't terrible.
All right, very good. Well, this episode again of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And don't forget, Reunion 2011 is coming up this year in December, and you can be a part of Reunion. And if you want to be a part of Reunion, want to be there, that'd be great. But, if you're looking for a great option, choose MEI and Mouse Fan Travel to book your travel. They've got great rates for Reunion, and you know what? They're going to have some little surprises coming up and some information for you that might be of interest. So if you're going to come, why not support MEI and Mouse Fan Travel? Check them out online at mousefantravel.com. Quick note, programming note, our next live show is Sunday, June 26th, 2011, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Details at www.today.com. We'd love for you to be a part of that show.
June 26th. Okay.
It'd be nice if you get there, Newell.
I can be there.
All right, nice. That'll do it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show. Have fun, Len, in Paris.
Wee wee.
Wee wee.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Le Twinkie.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.